because of two reasons. One, I just got my tax done and I got my tax refund check, so your boy a little bit excited. He got a little something in pocket. And two, Roblox just released earnings and it was pretty nice to look at. So we excited. So let's talk about this Roblox earnings. So some of the things that I picked out that I think is interesting to take a note of. Are you guys ready? You better be, because we starting right now. Let's go. Whoosh. What's going on, people? It's your boy Kelechi back with another video. If this is your first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we talk about on this video, hit that like button. But actually, wait till the end of the video to hit that like button. But anyway, your boy excited. There's a lot for us to get covered today, talking about this Roblox earnings call. If you guys don't know, well, some of you should know and some people may not know, I'm extremely bullish on Roblox. I just love the idea of the game. I love the metaverse that it's creating. I love the premise of what it does. If you don't know what Roblox is a gaming platform, but I'd like to think of it more than just a platform. It's also like a social media environment as well, because it has the ability for everybody who plays the game to be able to create on the game as well. So think of it more like a YouTube environment where users are the ones that create the content on the platform, which creates this kind of flywheel effect where the users are generating content, they get paid for that content, and then because they get paid for that content, they keep on creating more content, and then other people see that you can get paid on that content, and then it just creates this flywheel effect. And I just think Roblox, and plus the whole idea of a metaverse, which is what we're moving into anyway, is just cool to me. I really like the idea of the metaverse. So that's why I'm really bullish on Roblox. I'm really hyped on Roblox. As a matter of fact, today after the earnings call, if you want to take a look at the screen, after today on the earnings call, Roblox actually exploded a little bit because investors who were, for the most part, did not like the stock, all of a sudden started piling into the stock. I mean, it opened high on its IPO debut or DPO debut, but since then, it's kind of had been getting beaten down for a long time. If we go back the last 6 months since it IPO'd, it's kind of been all over the place. Actually, it hasn't even been 6 months, but since its IPO, it's been all over the place. And since then, it's actually been getting beaten down. And then today, all of a sudden, it exploded back up. So for me, I've been an investor in Roblox since the IPO. Was that a bad idea? Probably. I'm not going to lie. That was a bad idea to buy into it because there was not a whole lot of information, but I was just so excited about it. And I wanted some kind of exposure to it. And I was okay with the little bit of exposure so I can keep my eyes on the company. And so far it's been pretty nice. But anyway, let's just talk about some of the numbers that they announced from their earnings call today. So revenue increased over 140% over Q1 2020 to $387 million. However, that's positive, but on the other side, they still lost $134 million, which is actually double what they had lost last year at this same time last year. So they're still losing a ton of money, but we'll talk about why that is. We'll talk about that in a second, why they're still losing so much money. And then on the other side, you have net cash provided by operating activities. This is basically like the actual business itself is actually producing a lot of money. So 4 times more than it has ever done before. So $164 million was produced from their operating activities, which is pretty cool and really good to see that they're making that much money from this same time last year. So that's really good to see. Then the next thing is their bookings, which if you don't know what bookings are, let me scroll down to the bottom of the page. So bookings is defined as revenue plus the change in deferred revenue during the period and other non-cash adjustments, aka accountant speak. Now they explain what that actually is. Booking is equal to the amount of virtual currency purchased by users in a given period of time. So Robux, which is the currency that you use within Roblox. Say those two things 5 times fast and you end up saying Roblox. Oh God. Robux on Roblox. It's hard to say, but the point is, this is the money that you actually use when you're playing the game. And the way that they do it is basically, it's kind of like a holding account. It's like if you go to Starbucks and you get a Starbucks gift card, rather than Starbucks just accounting for you buying that gift card that one time, what Roblox does is it expenses it as you buy more things within the game. So if somebody buys like a $30 Robux, they will just hold the $30 within your account until you use all of it, which means that they expense it over the lifetime of the player. So that's just a note on Roblox. But but bookings increased 161% from this same time last year to $652 million. That's a lot of bookings. And then free cash flow also increased 4 times over Q1 of 2020 to $142 million. These are all good signs. All these numbers are wonderful to see and are great to see that they continue to make more money. But the question that I keep having, and we'll go into this a little bit more, is this pandemic driven? Is this all due to the pandemic? Have they pulled forth a lot of their growth factors? We'll talk more about that in a second. And now when we start talking about that, we'll dive into the active daily user numbers. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to pull out from some of the highlights from their earnings, this is the earnings letter, the investor letter, the letter that was sent out to investors that I want to pull out is this is the reason why their net loss is going up. This is the reason why they're not making that much money is because they're still growing. So they're still expanding and spending more to hire more people. And it says that as of the end of March 2021, we had 1,054 employees, of which 79% were either on a product or on an engineering team. Total headcount this time last year was 651 people total. So they've doubled their headcount as they continue to grow and as they continue to go into different markets, which is something that we'll talk a little bit more as we go into the next segment. The other thing that I find very interesting, and I said this earlier when I was talking about the flywheel effect of Roblox, is the fact that because they pay their developers, more people are going to want to become developers for Roblox. So in Q1 2020, total developer exchange fees were $118 million, up 167% year over year. On a trailing 12-month basis, the number of developers earning over $30,000 was nearly 800, or approximately 2 times the trailing 12 months number measured at the end of Q1 2020. Similarly, the run rate of earnings for the 1,000th developer was over $29,000 in March 2021, up from roughly $8,000 in March last year. We believe that we are on track to share nearly $500 million with the community this year. That is amazing. This right here is one of the reasons that I'm really bullish on Roblox, because it has what I like to call the YouTube effect. I said that earlier as well. Basically, one of the biggest things that is going for YouTube is a lot of people think and know that, hey, I can make a little bit of money on YouTube. If I just put forth the effort, if I just create content, I can make money for YouTube. And for YouTube, that is more people coming on the platform when they see somebody else's content is ad dollars, ad revenue. And so they can serve more ads. And YouTube has this flywheel of one person makes content. They find out, they share that content on YouTube. Another person sees like, oh my God, I can make money creating content on YouTube. And then they make more content and then it flushes more people back to YouTube. And it's this eternal cycle where people just continue to come on YouTube because of that. And YouTube doesn't have to create a single thing. YouTube doesn't have to do anything. Other people are developing on YouTube. They just have to monitor the platform. They just have to create the platform, and then the flywheel just continues to spin for itself. Other people are creating the content for YouTube. That's why I'm on YouTube right now, which is one of the reasons that I love investing in Google. That flywheel effect is so strong. And Roblox is doing the same thing. And the impressive thing for me on Roblox is the 1,000 developer last year only would have made $8,000. And this year, the $1,000 place developer is making almost 30 grand, almost $30,000 on Roblox, which shows that it's not just the platform that's growing, but the people who are creating for the platform are being paid for the things they're creating, which means that they're going to want to create more for the platform, which means they're going to be incentivized to create more on the platform. And not just that, but also to get more people to be on the platform as well. And as more people start thinking like, yo, if I play this game and I can make a little bit of money and all this other stuff, it continues to grow. It's this flywheel effect, and I love it so much. It's one of the reasons I love Roblox, minus the whole metaverse that I also love about it as well, which is a whole separate conversation. This one, we're just going to focus on a lot of the numbers. So a couple of things to go through on Roblox statement. And just going back to the question of, has Roblox really seen a lot of its growth? This is the question that I keep asking myself. Was the pandemic basically pulling forth a bunch of the growth for Roblox? That's the question that I keep asking. And will Roblox continue to grow? So as you can see, before the pandemic, Roblox was growing at about a 50% rate. Like in Q1 of 2019, it grew about 74%. And then that tapered off to about 50%. And it was tapering off to about 50 to 45%. But then after Q1 of 2020, the growth took a spike. Why? Because everybody was at home. Everybody was locked in. Nobody had anywhere else to go. So all of a sudden, everybody was playing Roblox. And then we saw massive jump from Q1 2020 to Q1 of 2021. We've seen 140% growth in revenue. Now, is that all due to the pandemic? That is the thing that continues to be on my head. That's one of the risk factors that I cannot completely understand, which is why I've not put a whole lot of money into Roblox yet, because I'm trying to see what is going to happen once we start opening back up. We already saw Netflix take a massive dip in the number of subscribers last quarter when it reported its earnings. Is Roblox going to see a massive dip in its growth as well? Right now, it's not. Right now, it's not. And that's a matter of fact. Let's go down to the daily active users, which is something that I pay very much attention to, especially for a growth company. That's one of the biggest numbers to pay attention to, is how much are they growing? Are they still growing extremely fast, or are they starting to slow down in their growth? So we can see right here, the daily active users has continued to grow, not at the same level that it was growing during the pandemic. It was growing at almost 100% clip during the pandemic. But it's not doing that anymore. But when you compare year over year from 2020, Q1 of 2020 to Q1 of 2021, we can see a growth of almost 80%, which is good. However, we can see that dip where it was growing at 95%, 100%, 100%, but then now it's taking that dip back to earth. So that's the question that I keep asking myself is, are we seeing the nosedive of the growth as people start going back to regular life? However, the positive side of the growth factor that we're seeing is Roblox is starting to expand itself outside of the United States and outside of Canada. The largest growth areas that it's seeing is the rest of the world. It's not even in the United States or Canada. It's growing much, much faster outside of those two places. And it's also important to note that in Europe and the Asian Pacific are growing much faster than the United States as well. These are good notes, especially for a business that started out primarily in the United States. One of the things that you want to see is that, can it be cross-border? Can it be cross-continental? Can it grow outside of the borders of the United States and outside of the borders of North America? And that is good to see for Roblox. The other problem that Roblox is the fact that Roblox is basically seen as a kid's game, right? A lot of people think Roblox is just a kid's game. So the other question I have for it is, can Roblox shed that demeanor? Can Roblox shed that understanding that everybody just thinks like, oh, Roblox is just for kids? And from this, you can see that they are growing for kids over the age of 13, which is when we start calling them teenagers. So it's starting to get that teen market. But my question is it going to be able to continue growing that after the pandemic? As you can see, for this quarter, it grew at 111% as far as over 13 kids, which is great that is growing much faster. Because the other thing is, especially when you start looking at the numbers and the money, over 13 kids are kids that have a part-time job and they have a little bit more money in their pockets because they're able to go work at a fast food restaurant or something like that. And so they will be able to spend more rather than the under 13 kids who are, they got to go ask their mom and ask their dad for money to be able to play on the platform, to be able to buy all the stuff that they want. Now, it's easier to sell to those kids because they'll buy whatever. But however, to be able to consistently do it, you need kids who are over 13. Are they still playing the platform? Are they deciding to stick on as they grow older? That's the question that I continue to ask for Roblox. Even though I love the platform, I love a lot of stuff of it, but at the same time, we got to ask ourselves these questions, which is why I'm going to continue paying attention to Roblox. As a matter of fact, Roblox announced that it will be revealing it's going to be revealing monthly metrics to show us how it's growing every single month so that we can see and have an idea of how things are going, which is very good to be able to at least show us how things are going month over month over month. And it's wonderful to have that transparency. I just hope that them being this transparent doesn't actually deter from the more important things of actually running the business. But that's generally it for Roblox. Let me know what you guys think about Roblox. Let me know, is it a business that you're looking at? Is it a company that you will be willing to invest in? Or is it just like, nah, I'm not going to be investing in Roblox? Oh, one of the things before we get out of here, the average booking per daily active user increased about 46% from Q1 of last year. However, it also, and again, it tapered off. So as Q2 of last year was up 69%, but now it's only down to 46%. So the question is like, is this going to continue, or are things starting to taper off? Are people going to spend their money elsewhere? Because now we're no longer on lockdown. There's so many other things that people can start spending their money on again. Kids can go to movie theaters, they can buy toys, they can go hang out with their friends. So it's just the same questions that I keep asking. Has the pandemic pulled forth a lot more growth a lot more growth for Roblox than that was supposed to be future growth? So it's just the question that I keep asking myself. It's like any other investment, you're going to have major questions that you just got to be like, can I research enough to make me feel comfortable making this investment? But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. And if you did, hit that like button. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. But I'm going to catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all. And I'm out. Peace.